All right, we got a hell of a catfight for you tonight. It is Donald Trump versus the Republican establishment. Now, this is as important as it gets, and it tells you exactly where the fault lines in the GOP are. First of all, apparently the Republican insiders realized, oops, Trump's been leading for too long. As the Washington Examiner points out, he's been atop the Real Clear Politics average of national polls for 3 months straight. Oopsie doopsie. So then Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe said, quote, the Republican establishment for the first time is saying off the record, this guy can win. I've heard that from everybody. I don't hear anybody saying he can't win the nomination anymore. So now, you might be wondering, wait, what in the world is going on here? Trump's a Republican. He's massively right-wing. So why don't they like him? Well, number one, he's not going by all the Republican talking points. So they're very, very upset. So when he blames Bush for 9/11 and then says Iraq was stupid, they're like, no, don't do that. We had everybody tricked. Okay, but that's less important. What's more important is when he says things like, hey, the donors are the problem. Wait a minute, they are the donors. The Republican establishment is not a series of politicians. It's a series of donors who control the politician. So when Trump takes a pot shot at them, they're like, we did not sanction this. What in the world is going on? Now, number two problem the donors have with him on the more serious side is they say, wait a minute, we can't control him. We're used to these Republican politicians and any politician we donate to being our boy, right? And to carrying water for us. Like Scott Walker, he was such a good boy. Yeah? You know, when we told him to destroy the unions in Wisconsin, he destroyed the unions for us. And when we told him, hey, we got to consolidate against Donald Trump and ordered him out of the race, he immediately bowed his head. Yes, sir, absolutely, sir. Let me go get your water, sir, right? So that's the kind of Republican politicians that donors are used to. When Trump, for better or for worse, and I think he's a maniac in a lot of ways, does not bow his head, they're like, what are you doing? And when he says, on top of that, I might raise taxes on hedge funds. Look, the rest of his tax proposals are, you know, very Republican, very right-wing. In the end, you're not going to be surprised that Donald Trump will likely give himself a very large tax cut. Okay, probably part of the reason he's running. But when he says, hey, some of you guys, hedge fund guys, private equity guys, I'm going to raise your taxes because I'm not in your camp. They go, whoa, what is this? So when Washington Examiner, which is a right-leaning publication, asked the leading conservative, hey, what is the reaction to Donald Trump in the Republican establishment? His answer is, quote, massive resistance. He's not a conservative. I don't know about that, but I do know that they're like, he didn't say tax cuts for all the rich. And he didn't say he would do as the donors said. Massive resistance. So how does that resistance play out in the real world? Okay. A Republican strategist said, the ads are coming. They're going to hit him. They're going to hit him below the belt. They're going to hit him Republican style, and they're going to hit him a lot. He said, I don't think Trump can withstand 10,000 points of smart negative in Iowa and New Hampshire. Now, let me decode that for you because that's some political speak. 10,000 points means 10,000 ratings points. That's them buying TV ad. So they buy it based on rating points. A 10,000 point buy in Iowa and New Hampshire is massive. And when he says of smart negative in Iowa and New Hampshire, that means smart negative political ads against Trump. I don't know what they're going to highlight, whether it's the bankruptcies or supposedly liberal things he said. I don't know, but they're coming. And they are going to unleash hell on Donald Trump. Everybody grab your popcorn. This is going to be fun. Now, of course, that's their side. They're coming with this. But you know, Trump also has some money. Now, that same strategist says it would force him to spend money. That's when this starts to get real for him. See, one of their strategies is not necessarily to defeat him with the negative ads, although they believe they can do a lot of damage in those ads, as I'm going to tell you in a second, but to force him to spend his own money, and they think, this guy's in it for the money. If we force him to spend real money to defend himself, he won't want to do it and he'll leave. I know, but you've had a lot of theories as to why Donald Trump would leave, and he hadn't left yet. So you might want to check yourself on those theories. So now one of the groups opposed to him is Club for Growth. Now, I've told you about Club for Growth a lot before. They're the guys that are mainly the anti-tax movement. So that's where the billionaires, the multinational corporations, all put their money in, and then they're the main arm for bribing the Republican politicians. So if anybody says, hey, we might even think about raising taxes 0.5% on anyone rich in the country, Club for Growth comes out roaring, right? So they've already done ads against Donald Trump. They say, we primed the pump with our ads in Iowa. And this is the Club for Growth president, David McIntosh. We did some polling afterward. The ads flipped Trump from first to second place among caucus goers and put a dent in his approval ratings. Okay. So they're like, we already know how to do this. We go negative on everybody. How do you think we beat the Democrats? So we're going to unleash that negative hell on Donald Trump. And they think that it could work. That's their main go-to move. How do the Republicans ever win with policies that are, according to the national polling, deeply unpopular? They win by running negative attack ads against their opponents. So they're going to do it to one of their own. And when asked, hey, Club for Growth, are you guys on your own or are there other donors behind you? They said, there are a large number of donors and political activists who want to do it. Okay? So now, the question is, will the battle be engaged? Well, Brian York, again writing for the Washington Examiner, says, the other problem is Trump himself. If he decides to spend serious money on his campaign, and some GOP veterans still aren't convinced he will, he could launch a serious counterpunch to any anti-Trump campaign. So that's coming right back at you. Oh, when the Republicans get dirty, they get dirty, dirty. And when Trump gets dirty, oh, he gets filthy. So this is going to be a mess and awesome. Can't wait.